Shalom everyone, this is Kris Shoemaker, also known as Yehudah ben Shomeyr, and welcome to the Daily Drash. Today's Daily Drash is taken from Matthew chapter 9, and I'm going to begin to read with verse 36 from the New American Bible. It says, "At the sight of the crowds, his heart," that is Yeshua, Jesus, "his heart was moved with pity for them, because they were troubled and abandoned, like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, 'The harvest is abundant, but the laborers are few. So ask the master of the harvest to send out laborers for his harvest.'" Have you ever seen perhaps a young child who gets separated from their family at the grocery store or at an amusement park or in some big crowd at a public event? The child is scared and is turning this way and that and just not knowing where to go first. And you can see the fear begin to rise up in this child. And a lot of times the child will just stand there not knowing what to do and just start crying because there's nothing that the child could do. It doesn't have the wits, the means, or the knowledge to think logically about the predicament of a situation and an attempt to find his family. Or likewise, an elderly person that may be suffering dementia or Alzheimer's or having memory problems also in like manner becomes disoriented. Perhaps they were, in public and going to the store or going to the bathroom or going somewhere and they forgot where they were going, or maybe it's some place that they've been to before and they just forgotten how to get to where they're going. And they're just kind of turning this way and that and kind of blinking and scratching their head and just not knowing what to do. When you see somebody, whether it's a child or an older person, in a situation like this, or let's not just pick on the young or the old. Let's think about just a normal everyday person. Let's say that they don't have a map or a GPS, and they thought they knew where they were going, and they thought they knew where their destination was, but they're like, "Gee, I mean, where the heck am I? I mean, how did I end up here? Where do I go from here?" Just to see the confusion and the frustration and the fear in the person's face and eyes rising up in them, you can't help but have compassion on them and feel sorry for them. And, perhaps how to direct the young child to their family, or where the older person's going or where the younger person is supposed to go. And you have the answer. This is the way it was with the common folk in Yeshua's day. You had the religious elite, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They knew the Bible from cover to cover. They knew, the prescribed manner and way one should walk. But they've just added a bunch of obstacles and unnecessary steps in the way. It's kind of like one of those family circus comics where you see point A and point B, and then there's these little dots going around in circles and taking the long way to get to where the child needs to go. And we all know that the fastest way to somewhere is a straight line. But in this family circus comic, you see the child go all in big circles and loops and zigzags until they finally get to where they're going. And this is the way it was with the Pharisees and Sadducees. They added a bunch of twists and turns and zigzags and hills and valleys to get to where you need to go. And Yeshua said, "No, it's a straight line. Here it is." So in like manner, when he saw the common folk, he saw their abandonment by the Pharisees and Sadducees. They said, "Oh, here's the way to go. Good luck. Have a good life." And some of them weren't educated or had enough money to be educated by the Pharisees and Sadducees, and they were just common folk, and they just didn't know where to go or what to do. They heard about religion and knew all about religion, but they just didn't know A, B, and C. And Yeshua and his disciples had the answer. They had the simplistic answer for them. So when he saw the confusion on their face and their eagerness to learn and their eagerness to get from point A to point B, they wanted to know the truth. They wanted to know the right path, but yet they just didn't know who to go to or where to turn or what step to take first. And then he saw the confusion and the fear rise up in their face, and he said to his disciples, "At the sight of the crowds, his heart was moved with pity for them, because they were troubled and abandoned like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, 'The harvest is abundant, but the laborers are few. So ask the master of the harvest to send out laborers for his harvest? This is basically a rhetorical question because obviously in the next chapter, chapter 10, he sends out his very own disciples for this very purpose, to bring in the harvest. So basically, we are Yeshua's disciples, his students. We know what he knows. He told us everything that he wanted us to know. We know the right way. We know the right path. But even though we know the truth, we sometimes let custom and tradition and the minor details that's not important at the time get in the way of telling people the truth and where to go. But yet we have the answers, and he wants us to go out there and tell the people which way to go, the simplistic way from point A to point B, the simplistic way laid out in the Word of God in the Gospels by Yeshua the Messiah. Sure, there's 613 commandments in the Torah, but Yeshua lived them out perfectly in front of us, easily as an example. And we're to walk in the footsteps of Yeshua, our Messiah, by walking and following in the Word of God. And it's so simple, and that's what we need to keep in mind. Just like the acronym KISS, keep it simple, stupid, right? We need to keep it simple when we're telling the people who don't know as much as we do about the Word of God. They're hungry. They're wanting to know the truth. They're trying New Age. They're trying other religions. They're trying, secularism and hedonism and so many other ways to get to God and get to happiness. Yet we know the truth and have the path. Guys, keep this in mind when you're going out today and meeting other people and witnessing. Thanks for listening. Shalom and Shavua Tov.
Abraham'sDescendants.com, getting back to the first century in a 21st century way.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press the like button as well as the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and the notification bell that'll let you know every time I make a new video. And don't forget to share this with a friend. Also, visit our website at Abraham'sDescendants.com. Thanks. Shalom. Thanks for watching. Stay connected by subscribing to our other social media accounts and visiting our website at Abraham'sDescendants.com.